It's TEDA Time.
Living in Terrebonne, living in Terrebonne. You sure won't want to miss it, and I'll bet that you'll revisit living in Terrebonne.
Local Terrebonne Parish Economic News.
Hello and welcome to TEDA Time. I am your host, Keith Weissheit. Thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate it very much. This is when we get an update on everything that's happening in our community. Very excited to have with us a very special guest. Catherine Gilbertario is with us with TEDA. Thanks for joining us.
Oh, thanks for having us today, Keith.
We absolutely appreciate it. Sitting next to her, Jamie Morvant, Senior Vice President of Operations for Gulf Island. Thanks for being here.
Thanks for having us.
All right. Sitting next to him, Mr. Jared Walker, the principal of the Lafourche Parish School District's Career Magnet High School. That's a mouthful, Jared.
Yes, it is. Thank you for having us.
I'm glad that you're back, man. We appreciate that. And it's always nice to see where we have some specialties. We have specialties in our area that do lots of different things. But Catherine, I always appreciate the fact that y'all have your finger on the pulse of what's happening in our community. And it's important that we kind of share that today.
It is. You know, there are a lot of things that go on in this community. People have a lot of perceptions on what our economy is really doing. Mm-hmm. We try to stay as informed as possible so that we can put out what's really the case.
Right.
You know, there was a headline yesterday that the state is losing more jobs. Mm-hmm. You know, well, our unemployment rate for the MSA is right at 3.9.
That's low.
That is low for our area. And our MSA is Terrebonne, Lafourche, and Assumption parishes.
Right.
With that being said, what we have to remember is that the MSA or any of those numbers for unemployment really are based on how many jobs are listed with the state.
Okay, based on job listings with the state.
Right.
Versus how many of those are filled.
Exactly.
Or missing.
So
okay.
They also track things like, your unemployment claims and things like that.
Right.
But jobs, say, on Indeed or some other job search engine are not included in that number. So when they say we've lost X number of jobs, but we only have, right now they're saying that we have 1,200 jobs listed in Terrebonne and a few less in Lafourche, they're not looking at those online search engines. So really we have a little more like 2,000 jobs available
right.
In each parish. And of course, there's some overlap there as well.
Right. Well, because we're so closely connected.
Absolutely.
Terrebonne and Lafourche go together. Mm-hmm. That's a good thing. And a connection with Assumption. So is there anything in particular that we see kind of moving or where things are going?
Well, we are seeing a lot of creation of jobs in things like oil and gas, the mining sector, the transportation sector, and the healthcare sector. We're seeing job creation predominantly in those, and then a smattering across, retail and professional services and things like that.
Okay. Jamie, can you tell us what you're kind of seeing with the local labor market, colleagues, and other companies, as well as Gulf Island?
Yes, sir. Right now, there's a strong demand for craft-type labor, both entry-level and skilled. We've been recently awarded a project that'll start up probably the first quarter of next year. We'll have a demand on our fab yard to probably increase by about almost 200-300% of what we currently have.
Wow.
We also, known as Gulf Island, most of us get associated with the fabrication side of things. Mm-hmm. We actually have a service line that right now is actually 3 times the size of our fabrication capability. On the service side, we've been trying to hire probably 100 people for the last year now, with the churn of just trying to maintain resources. Mm-hmm. So going into next year, we're looking at probably with a need of 400 people just as Gulf Island to satisfy what we currently have on the books.
And so interestingly enough, those numbers about, what we're saying is unemployed, we got this huge option for another 400 people to go to work if they'll want to do that, right?
That is correct.
Yeah, some great updates on that. So, Jared, how about you guys? Tell us what's happening down in Lafourche.
Yeah. What happens is we meet with a lot of industries. Okay. And lately, I've been getting a whole more calls of industries just looking for jobs. They're looking for students that are ready to exit school and ready to work. Mm-hmm. And it's astounding, the numbers we keep getting, 200 this company. And these are only companies that we deal with. And I know there's much more out there that we're not hearing from yet.
Right.
So we're trying to partner up with any and everybody to help out anybody we can.
Right. And it's a wonderful marriage, if you will, for you guys about being able to see, what do y'all have available? These are some of the projects coming up, and being able to kind of get those people working together, right? That's where we cross those parish lines so very well, about people who are finishing school and finishing some of this training for them to be able to go to work for you guys, right, Jamie?
Yes, sir. Like we were talking about in the room earlier, in the waiting room, just how can we bring more people into the mix to put to work, because there are jobs and lots of opportunities. Somebody has one desire, we're looking for them right now.
Right. And so it's one of those things where you can help train them, you can help find them a job, and Catherine can report some different numbers, right?
It's all about what I can tell people. Absolutely.
Okay, right. Sorry, I sometimes forget that's the theme here. What it is that you can tell them about what they should or shouldn't do. But one of the things that I take a great deal of pride in living in Terrebonne and working in Terrebonne and Lafourche parishes is how well we work together. Mm-hmm. It doesn't matter what the concept or subject is, we're going to find a way to work together. And so it's very much appreciated to be able to see how and what we do with that. And so we're talking just a little bit about the value of helping and where we need the help. But the late Bill Bourne said to me years and years ago, he said, when you want a successful company, you need to invest in three things. You invest in your people, you invest in your people, and you invest in your people. And so it was one of those things that's always been mindful to me. So, Catherine, that's one of those things where we're talking about we need people.
Desperately. Absolutely. And that's part of what we do at TEDA is we work on workforce development. Right. We work with our partners, and we've been very active lately with the Louisiana Workforce Commission and its business services representatives, looking at how do we expand the labor pool. Jamie mentioned it. We need more people out there for these companies to hire. And that's not only in craft positions, but in those entry-level jobs. Okay. So we've been working a lot with the school district, the parish school district, as well as Fletcher, to devise a program to offer training to high school seniors as a pilot that will allow them a little bit of leg up when they apply for these entry-level positions. Right. Giving them the ability to be of value much quicker to the company, save the company a little bit of its funds on training, and really they can be productive much closer to day one.
Yeah, and so there's some wonderful programs out there that are short term that allow for terrific skill sets for people just to do that very thing. They're better trained before they get in. Mm-hmm. Fletcher's been doing a lot of that. They've been listening.
Absolutely.
They've been listening to some of the research about what it is that people need, what it is that they want, and what some of those fields are that we're doing. And so they're really exciting about that. Go ahead.
Well, since Jamie kind of brought this training initiative concept to us, I want to give him the opportunity to really talk about what we're doing with the school district and Fletcher and the concept that he brought to us.
And it's kind of 4 specific areas, right, that we're dealing with, Jamie?
Yes, sir. It's basic fundamentals of safety element. We call it a rigging. It's basically just how you handle materials.
Okay.
Another one's just equipment, how to operate certain equipment, small hand tools and stuff like that. And then we talked about a piping element where the people learn about piping processes. One of the things that I brought to Ms. Catherine when we originally started the concept was it's not unique to our company as Gulf Island. It's an industry-wide thing that can be carried forward, not only here locally, but also into plants. It gives a foundation for the start of lots of different careers. So what we're trying to do is get with other companies and say, hey, look, we as Gulf Island want as many resources as possible, but I think it's in the best interest of all of the different companies to have a common goal to get as many people into the labor pool as possible. If we tried to take the initiative on ourselves, it probably wouldn't get as much traction as if you get a bunch of companies behind it. So it was kind of like we was talking to Mr. Jarrett earlier in the lobby. We focus on welding, we focus on fitting. But a lot of my crews that I utilize, like to do on my service side, 30-40% of them are at an entry-level rigging type position. It's a lot of grunt labor. It's a lot of want and desire. But if they come in with these bases, I can advance them in a lot better starting pay than somebody that's truly green.
Right.
Okay. So, and that's the difference with those green hires, if you will.
Yes, sir.
And how we kind of conceptualize that. Very
Yes,
good.
sir.
But we're also kind of focusing on education and how we're helping to deal with that with Jared as well.
Absolutely. Jared with the Career Magnet Center has, excuse me, has embarked on an apprenticeship program that they're on the cusp of launching. I think as early, approvals next week?
Next
potentially with the
Thursday, we
state?
go in front of the Apprenticeship Commission Board to lay our plan out and get the approval.
Okay. And it's for business, right?
Right now, 4 businesses. In June, we were approached by John Deere and brought with this concept of the apprenticeship through Louisiana Workforce Commission.
Okay.
And we listened to it, and right away we realized how much of a win it would be for our whole parish, from our students to our industry, all across South, Central, and the North Parish. So what happened was John Deere, Bollinger's, Edison Schwess, and Grand Isle Shipyard joined forces with us. You have to have at least one business to be with you for this apprenticeship.
Okay.
You can have as many as you want. So we're always looking for more.
Sure.
We welcome anyone. But once the apprenticeship program happens, there's an application process. So we're going to front load students. They have to go through interview. They have to have some basic skills
Right.
before they can apply. Once they apply, they go in the interview and they have a skills test, and then they're offered a job. But our goal, lots of kids are offered jobs. We want to give them a career that they can hold on to and grow old with. And the great thing, another highlight of this program is 16-year-olds can start working
Oh my.
and put in their 401k.
Wow.
And for a 16-year-old, they won't understand, but we know the parents are going to understand that importance to start off that early.
Right.
So we're hoping the approval next week. We're going to be launching it during National Apprenticeship Week, which is on November 14th through the 18th. And then on November 18th is our actual career expo at our school.
Okay.
That we invite any business, they can sign up with us. And it allows our school students, but also this year we're bringing in our 3 high schools to come and visit also.
Wow. Terrific. And some wonderful things going on in the food share. We appreciate it. Good luck with that new initiative and what happens with the Big 4. Hopefully that becomes a whole lot more. Jamie, thank you for all the work that we're doing here in Terrebonne Parish and all the options that we have. And it's always nice when the desk gets much better looking. And that's the case here as we welcome back to the program, Catherine Gilbert. Terrio, Catherine, thank you for joining us.
Oh, thank you for having us back.
We appreciate it. Sitting next to her is Sandra Corbett. Sandra, thanks for joining us. We appreciate it. And sitting next to her is Miss Jeannie Ordwin. And Jeannie, we're glad you're here.
Thank you. Thanks for having us.
All right, very good. And so tourism's a really big deal. And man, it's fall and we've got lots of festivals that we're excited about. But it's also important about what those festivals do and bring for some of these organizations.
Absolutely. You know, it's important to the organization, but it's also very important to our local economy. You know, the impact these festivals have, not just on the fundraising ability for the festival and its organization, but also when people come into town, they have to fill up. They might rent hotel rooms. They may eat on festival site or realize they've left, they're still hungry. So before they get on the road to go home, they'll pick up an extra meal or two, you know, some snacks for the road, something like that. So there's a spillover effect from a festival into, you know, the rest of the economy. So it's
Right.
really, really important.
And so, and I know how involved you are. You're on the board of almost everything. And we were talking earlier about how voluntold most of us are about being on boards. But it's good that you're on the board here.
It's been very helpful for me in my role at TEDA as Business Retention and Expansion Director to understand the relationship and to be active in it between tourism and the local business community. Unfortunately, I'm about term limited out.
Right.
And we'll be looking for another board member toward the end of the year.
Okay.
And someone who has a tie to tourism in some way, shape, or form is one of the qualifications. But anybody who's interested in that can certainly talk to my friend here, Sandra, and get some more information and how to apply for that.
To be able to do that. And Sandra, just tell us a little bit about some of the information, some of the stats and things going on. Let's talk about Rougarou.
Absolutely. So every year we are provided from the Louisiana Office of Tourism spending reports. And so our latest report from 2021 shows that tourism within Terrebonne Parish generated over $203 million in visitor spending, which is an increase of 42% from 2020. Not only,
Which are both COVID years.
yes, COVID and hurricanes, which, you have to understand, we also have the business sector as well, too,
Right,
besides
right.
the leisure sector.
Yeah, but the fact that
it's
those numbers
phenomenal.
are that high and up 42% is remarkable.
It is. And, I can't not express how much our staff has been working to bring up those numbers. And so also, in employment earnings, it was $72 million that visitors had provided for those workers, which also employed 2,740 employees here in Terrebonne Parish.
Wow.
And without tourism, each household would have to pay an additional $588 in local and state taxes. But the thing that I'm happy to report is, with these numbers that was provided to us by Louisiana Office of Tourism, we have ranked 9th in the state of Louisiana in tourism spending. We have never hit those numbers before. And so we are now part of the top 10 in tourism, in the tourism sector.
And listen, we've had some wonderful events already. I mean, the bicentennial celebration was phenomenal.
It was great.
We are just so very pleased to be able to do those kinds of things.
Absolutely.
So, we appreciate that. Very good. So, Jeannie, let's talk a little bit about the Bayou Arts Fest.
Yeah. So the Arts Council umbrellas 6 parishes: Terrebonne, Lafourche, Assumption, St. John, St. James, and St. Charles.
Right.
And it's primarily funded through grant funding through the state, the LDOA, the NEA, the National Endowment of the Arts. And so coming into this job, I thought we need to help our local artists. So our grants grant to organizations at this time. And so our local artists, we'd like to beautify downtown. I don't know if you guys seen the wing mural we just did a couple of weeks ago. We're working on doing crosswalks. I got to paint that wing mural. I got to do the rainbow one.
Did you really?
Yeah.
I got asked at the festival, where was the new mural? And I got to tell somebody about how to get to it, go see it.
Yeah.
That's how exciting that was.
So it is
People were
exciting.
there at this festival, but they wanted to go see the mural.
Yep. It's so exciting. And so that's our goal, is to keep beautifying downtown, other areas of the parish, our other 6 parishes. And so we thought, what better way than a festival?
Okay.
And to showcase all of the art. And so when I came in, I'm like, I want all of the art there. So whether it's music, culinary, crafts, the Art After Dark. So it kind of encompassed Art After Dark, which was a great program already.
Right.
But the Fine Arts Guild approached us and asked us if we would join with them and try to help them encompass it with our festival. So it will be part of our festival, Art After Dark. We're having a singer-songwriter a singer-songwriter fest kind of thing.
Okay.
And that'll end with Billy and Joe Stark doing a hometown all-star band. So I'm excited about that. We're doing a culinary food cook-off.
Wow.
We'll have surprise visits from dance groups around, aerial artists. It's going to be great.
And so you'll be able to kind of provide us with that timeline, locations, and all that stuff.
Yes, that's
right?
all on our website, on our Facebook for sure, BayouArts.org.
BayouArts.org.
Yeah.
And I believe, is it the November 14th?
It's November 19th. Yes, sorry.
November 19th.
Yeah.
November 19th. And
Yeah.
it finishes with 2 of my favorite stars.
Yes.
Joe and Billy.
Yes.
Just special guys, special musicians. But that's one of the things that it sounds like you do. You bring to life those kinds of things for people to be able to enjoy. And again, how it impacts us overall.
Absolutely.
Really big deal in what we're doing and how we're doing. So some great work. So ladies, thank y'all very much. Not only for making the desk look a whole lot better, but for what you do in our community and being able to kind of figure out those numbers and how those statistics work for us and do that. And so, Catherine, thanks for what y'all do and everything that's going on with TEDA. We appreciate it.
Well, thank you for having us and our friends.
That's it. Very good. So thank y'all all. All right. And that will do it for this particular segment of TEDA Time. Don't go anywhere. A lot more local programming here on HTV.